Hey everybody, Steve Simonson here from Parsimony.com, and today we're going to talk about how to add a supplier. So the first thing is I'm in my main desktop, and you see the normal series of desktop icons that I have here, but let's remind you that your desktop icon list may vary. If you see supplier on your desktop list, go ahead and you can click and dive right in, and you'll see what's called the supplier list. This is a simple list of all the suppliers, and you can change that list or show it differently based on different things. But today we're just going to talk about how to add a supplier. Just for the sake of discussion, let's assume that you're inside of project management and you're working in project management. This is a Kanban list, by the way. And we're looking at something and we see a bunch of details and we say, you know what, I need to add a supplier real quick. You can go up here to the awesome bar and simply type in supplier list or scroll down to the supplier list option there, and boom, you'll be right back to the same place. So no matter how you navigate, whether you go through the desktop icon or you do the awesome bar search, go ahead and get to the supplier list to add a new supplier. And once you're there, you just click on new. The simplest thing to do is just type in, or once you click on new, is type in their name, test supplier. When it comes to supplier types, you can decide what supplier type makes the most sense for you. This allows you to categorize your suppliers at a later date. So are they a distributor, pharmaceutical, hardware, electrical, and you can add, subtract, edit these as you wish. Create new supplier type or go to the supplier type list to deal with any of these supplier types. In this case, we're going to say they're a factory. So we click on save, and boom, the new test supplier is there. Now, obviously, that's a very cursory top-level information. So we're going to go ahead and click on that, and we can see the test supplier. We can see any of their history here in the dashboard, any billings unpaid to date. Obviously, they're brand new, so there's nothing. We can talk about making a request for quotation, supplier quotes, purchase orders, etc., etc. In this case, we're going to just simply come in and try to add a simple address, new address, address title. Let's say main factory address. And we're going to say this is the plant, right? Because a factory plant. And we're going to say 100 Factory Way. And we'll use my hometown, County, Washington, United States, 98019. You can change it to whatever country or place that it needs to be. And we'll just say factory at mysimo.com, phone 206-555-1212. We don't need a fax number for them. And we'll save that. And so now we have one address saved for that supplier. Now the thing is, you can have additional contacts when you have a supplier. So for example, there may be another address, and we're going to say this is the factory corporate address. Maybe this is where you have your meetings and you do your factory inspection somewhere else. And we're going to say here, this is the office. And we're going to say 100 Corporate Drive. And we're going to say it's in a different city just for fun. Oops, I need to learn how to type. This is also King County, Washington, 98004. And email, we'll just say corporate. That's actually not required. We'll skip these because we're just making a point anyway. So when we come back into the main supplier, we can see that they have two contact addresses here. Now we can also add a contact for the factory. Let's just say it's Bob Tester, and then his email is not showing as required. So we'll just say that this is our sales rep, and let's see what happens here. We're going to say it's Mr. And we could add their phone number here, 206-555-1213. And we'll go back to the supplier now by going to supplier list, go to test supplier, and we come down and see that Bob Tester is now a contact within that supplier. So it's a really interesting relationship. The supplier is that entity, but they can have multiple addresses and they can have multiple contacts, right? There's the owner of the factory, perhaps, the sales rep of the factory, who's the factory production manager, floor tester, whatever. So maintaining these different addresses and these different contacts is a key part of that. Now, you do have other bits of information you can add as far as good etiquette and good processes. You can add any details that you have, any conversations maybe that are relevant to your terms. You can add comments down here like, we just opened this new supplier. Once you enter that comment, that log will stay in this particular supplier. So over time, as your team gets into these suppliers, you're able to add data, whether it is informal data like that or structured data like the contacts, addresses, and we'll say, that we have a credit limit of fixed days, and we'll say it's a 30 days. That means we get 30-day terms with these guys. And that's a time limit, not a price limit, obviously. Billing currency, we can set it to US dollars. And we don't have a price list entered, so we're just going to say a standard US price list. But you can create a standard price list, or you can create a custom price list if you wish, and you do that by simply creating a new price list. So that's the quick version of how you enter a supplier. There's obviously a lot to it, and you can get farther in depth, but it's really simple to add a supplier. That's all there is to it. I'm clicking Save to finalize my stuff. This is Steve from Parsimony.com. Check us out today.